Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Liona Sports Wrap. Joining us now, the team behind a new documentary about the 1990 Runnin Rebels squad. And they are Mark Hammer joining us here and as a director, and Phil Lopez is the producer of this documentary called Kings of Vegas. Wow. Okay. I know a lot of Vegas fans are going to say, it took a long time in the making to finally get to this point. Well, Phil, you first. What inspired you guys to do a documentary about that 1990 Runnin' Rebel team?
Well, Larry Johnson's been a good friend of Randy, our other producer, and myself for 20 years, and we do a lot of work with with Larry on promotions and appearances, and a movie's never been done about the greatest basketball team of all time in the greatest city of all time. So we said we're doing a movie, and started in June, brought Mark in to be our director. So that was really it, just be a friendship with Larry for years of coming out to Vegas and golfing and just being around him, and it kind of mushroomed from there.
Mark, as the director of this thing, how cool has it been to meet these rebels, get the stories, shoot the rebels, and kind of process through what the story is going to be all about?
Absolutely fantastic. You know, when you think about this team, and 30-some years ago, you can Google all kinds of stuff, right? And you kind of like get all the things that you can hit, but like when you talk to them, that's not on Google, right? You know, like they're telling you stories that you just can't find, anywhere. And the only way you get that is from, like personal conversations and diving into it. So it's been really exciting. I mean, we talk to these guys for hours, and then just the stuff when they relive it, like it takes you back to being a kid and watching them and being a fan. It's just been amazing.
Okay, to that end, were you guys fans? Phil, you first of the team back then?
Yeah, we were fans.
Who wasn't? No, you bring up a good point. Right. Is that while it was a Vegas team, it was a national team in so many ways.
Well, Coach K, who's in our film here, he said it. He said these guys, UNLV, brought basketball mainstream, right? And they were the first big team to come out and play. So a kid growing up in New York who had no idea about basketball was a huge fan day one. And a huge fan of Vegas.
Give us a tease. When you put this thing together, as you continue to put it together, you got more going on this summer, you're going to have a big reunion with all these guys. What's been maybe one big surprising point where you go, oh, wow, I never heard that before? There's probably too many to mention, huh?
There's a lot. I will say, what the biggest takeaway is the emotional connection that these guys have to this city, to their fans, and I know that's something you're like supposed to say, right? But it's one of those things that you go back and you look at, and some guys are in tears, talking about it. Some guys are just ready to run through a wall, just take them back to like their playing days. And I think all of them just have a story to tell, and we're just really excited to give them that platform to be able to do it.
Tears.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, you had 13 players on that team. Yeah. Anybody tell you no? Have you gotten all guys?
All
the guys?
13, Snoop Dogg.
Oh, they're all involved?
All involved.
Wow.
Every one of them, as a unit, they're involved.
Brian Emerzian.
He's in.
We got Brian Emerzian in there.
So good.
He's got some classic lines.
I bet he does.
And, everybody, Anderson and Mo and Coach K, Snoop Dogg, Chuck D, Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, everyone who's reached out to us had some sort of connection to these guys. And we said, let's go. And we've had a really warm reception to the project.
It seems like when you put a story, there's been other documentaries on the Runnin' Rebels. What's going to kind of separate yours from the ones that we've seen, the HBO piece and the network piece and so forth? You guys wanted to do something different. What is it? What are people going to see in this one?
Yeah, well, first of all, there's been a lot of great stuff done on this team. So I don't want to start with that there. I think what's different about ours is we're really focusing in on the perspective of the players. Right, like how did they go through things? What was like the world through their eyes? And then it's supported, with some other cast members that are, pretty incredible names. But I think you're going to be able to see and hear as if you were, on the team, with these guys.
Yeah, and the agreement we had with the players was every one of them's involved. If they're not all involved, they're not doing the movie. And again, to their credit, they said all 13. We said, okay.
So get everybody in
Every
and let's
single
go.
one. It was about a 30-minute phone call from my house, my backyard, with Larry, Stacy, and Anderson kind of leading. They all said, we're in. We said, okay, I guess we're doing a movie.
That parade was quite a party. There's Gary Waddell, former news anchor here at Channel 8, emceeing that party at the Thomas and Mack, and it was a fun day in Vegas. It was crazy, wild. The celebration. The town was much smaller back then, of course, but the whole community was in love with this Rebel basketball team and what it did in March with the NCAA tournament. Here's a segment. Some of the guys goofing on Tark. No, they're mocking Tark right there. They're doing his stance and that sort of stuff, his walk, if you will, and hand behind his. But they seem to get along back then when I cover them, watch them, and they seem to still have that same camaraderie, is what you're telling me, right?
Yeah, you know, like one of the themes that comes up, you know, is just family with these guys. And when I say family, not just like the team, but like everyone that was involved in it. You know, folks from, you know, Las Vegas that were a part of it. Like it was such like a tight group, and the community was like so tight and supportive of this group that it's really something special that I think in today's society, it's good to talk about how people can just be, how sports like this can just really bring people together.
Yeah, in a city where nobody's from here, right? A lot of people have come here and end up in Vegas. They brought the city together. You know, they brought it together, and we thought that was pretty special.
I'm going to guess Tark came to Las Vegas and really built this city. He put Las Vegas on the map with the Runnin' Rebels. I'm going to guess when all those 13 players talk about this team, Tark's at the top of their minds.
Oh, sure. Tark and Lois, we were with Lois yesterday and the daughters, and they said Tark, he was the glue. And we met with Sig yesterday, and he said—
Sig Rogish?
Yeah, he said, we had to get Tark here. He goes, we got him here, and that was it. And that's how the story began.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, just from diving into it from a filmmaker's perspective, and you know, talking to, you know, like the family, the Tarkanian family. I mean, they were like role models, you know, for these guys. They were, you know, helping them with the school, helping them with life, helping them with all that stuff. And so, and the general love between all of them is something that needs to be communicated.
Very good.
So it's due out when? What do you think?
So, like you said, in June we're having all the guys in town, a reunion here. In June we're gonna hit one of Stacy's buddies' cigar bars and do some filming there. But the plan is to be out next March, which is the 35th anniversary. Which, what better timing?
So March Madness.
That's the plan.
Good time. Yes.
The plan is to have it finished, you know, after our June event, and then have it out so everyone can view it right around this time next year.
And you're saying it may be a series, perhaps.
There's talk of that. We have plenty of material. I mean, you know these guys. You've known these guys longer than us. Plenty of material, you know, and it's a story that we think should be told, and we're going to tell it, and they're going to tell it with us. So, but that's the plan. The plan is next March Madness to celebrate the 35th anniversary.
Boy, can't wait for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, thank you very much for coming in. We're not done yet with the Runnin' Rebels. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit with Moses Scurry and Anderson Hunt. They're both here to talk about this project and also the basketball team. That's back right here on the Laguna Sports Wrap, coming up next.